Welcome to today's Hooray, it's Thursday. I'm Courtney, I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator in Australia, and I'd like you to welcome you to my channel, whether you're watching me on Facebook or whether you're catching me on YouTube and or Instagram. I'd like to say hi. So today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I normally make a card with you, but today I'm actually going to show you the beautiful new product of the month. So Stampin' Up are not having celebration starting next year. What they've done is they've introduced product of the month starting now. So product of the month is a lot of fun, and each month there'll be something different. This month it's the designer series paper, and if you're a blue fan, then you're going to love this. It's called True Blue Florals, and I'm going to show it to you now so that you can have a sticky, and then we're going to do something a bit different. We're going to make a gift box. Okay, and you may have guessed it from the title in the thing. So this is True Blue Florals. It's the two colors in it are Balmy Blue and Night of Navy. So we've got, every page has got floral on it. I'll just move this to the side because we're going to need that later. All right. So essentially we've got a floral, and I would be inclined to say that that is a directional print, and that is the back page. Okay. This one here is our next page. So Balmy Blue, Night of Navy, and White. I think this one is shaping up to be my favourite. Let me know which one's your favourite. All right, and that's the back of that one. Then there is this piece here. Again, it's a directional piece. All right, notice that I just go by the way the stems and the leaves are going, so to see if I would need to be aware, but it's also directional on the back. So that will actually impact on how you cut it. It's just one of those things. This piece here, it's quite pretty. Little Night of Navy leaves and little blue flowers, little balmy blue flowers. But look at the back of that one. How much fun is that? All right, I bet that's my friend saying, Cheryl, can you please message Lol and tell her, yes, I'm already on, and she needs to go on and have a sticky because I've already started. All right. And then there is this piece here, and it's pretty too, and that is the back there. Okay, so what I've brought over with me is a couple of things to show you. The ladies that came to craft on the weekend were all given one of these little guys. This is just a little gift box that I made. It's you can no longer get this gold thread, but it just works so beautifully. So this little gift box was made with designer series paper, cardstock, and ribbon and some foil. Okay, and it holds perfectly a packet of a liquid glue, so a Tombow, multi-purpose glue, whatever you want to call it. And I got them these little spatulas because I also cut open, and I think it's a good idea, I cut open my bottles just before that, when they're finished, so that way I can get more out of them. Okay, that's that size. I'll put that back on later, but I'm going to show you how to make a bigger size. So see the size difference? Okay, and I have a few sizes here. Oh, that one's the same, but there's one in the middle. So I'll give you the math so that you can make them to whatever size that you like. Okay, all right, so this guy here, for example, what would you put in that? You might put a bottle of perfume, you might put chocolates, whatever you like. But if you go into Uncle Dan's, hi Lowell, how you going? Uncle Dan's have these, essentially it's a glass and a half or 2 glasses of wine, and you can pop that in there, lid on there, and you've got a beautiful gift box that says thanks. Have a glass of wine on there at Christmas time if you're a drinker, but you can fit other things in there. This would be perfect for a lipstick, some hand cream, that sort of thing. They're nice, they're easy, and they're quite quick. So I'll show you how to make them all different sizes. Now, depending on what your favorite medium to work in is, inches, as in inches or centimeters, depends on what you do. I brought over some Balmy Blue and some Night of Navy cardstock. I've also got those inks because I will make a base, a I will make a tag for it as well. Okay. Hello, Cedar. How you going, darling? All right. So what you will need is cardstock, a trimmer, a bone folder, and glue. Okay. If you're going to stamp a tag, you'll need a tag, some ribbon, whatever to tie it on with. Now, you can make these boxes as tall as you like, as wide as you like. It's all going to be based upon your cardstock size. So if you've got a piece of 12 by 12, you've got a bit more room for play. If you've got just a piece of A4, you've got just a piece of A4. So it depends. So depending on what height you would like your box, depends on essentially what you can make it any height. So this one here, is this going to let me show you this? All right, this base here, I'm going to work it out. I'm going to do it in inches. Okay, the small box I did in centimeters. So depending on what size box you want, will depend on what you work with. Okay, so because I'm going to make this box here, I've essentially got a 2-inch. Let me see. Take my bottle out so I don't throw my bottle around. So based on what I've got here is I've got a 2-inch box. Okay. Hi, Ty. I've got a 2-inch box and I've got it the height of my cardstock. So in this case, it's the cardstock minus 2 inches. So I'm going to score at 2 inches. Okay. Because then my cardstock is going to end up this height. You'll see. So this is the biggest size box you can make out of an A4 piece of cardstock. All right. So, and the reason why you want this 2 inches is because all of our sides are going to be 2 inches. So we're going to end up with a 2-inch square. So to do that means that we're going to have to score at every 2 inches. Like I said, if you want to do it in centimeters, knock yourself out, but you're going to score it the same. Each side's going to have to be scored the same. So 2 inches plus 2 inches is 4 inches. Plus 2 is 6 inches. Plus another 2 is 8 inches. Oh, here, I'll put this one here so that you can read that while we're. Plus 2 is 8 inches. Now, we're scoring at 8 inches and we're going to cut it at, in this case, 8 1/4. Okay. So, hi, Lisa. You will need a pair of scissors. You can make this quarter on the side here a bit thicker if you would like. That is wholly and solely up to you. Okay. So that is my base. Now, for my top, I need a piece of designer series paper, and because this beauty is 2 inches, so what we're doing is whatever we'd like our sides to come down plus 2 inches plus whatever we'd like our sides to come down. So if we want our sides to come down 2 inches, this is easy. We're going to be cutting it 6 by 6. Okay, because that's 2 plus 2 plus 2. Does that make sense? All right. So it's whatever you've got in the middle plus your sides. All right. So in this case, we're gonna do that. We're gonna do a 6 by 6 because then that way we're not wasting any paper and we can actually get 4 out of each sheet. And I'm thinking, oh, which one do I want to use? I think I'll use this one. It's just pretty. It's going to work. Okay. I want one that's easy for everyone to see. Okay. So this is very transferable. Making this is very, very transferable. Okay. Okay. So we're going to need a 6 by 6 piece because you need 3. You need your side, the inside, and your side again. Okay. So I'm going to turn it over to score this one. So I need 2 inches on the inside. So I've decided that my side is going to be 2 inches. But I'm just going to go, and it might be a bit hard to see. So the 2-inch line there, where I would normally go right on the line, I'm going to go just inside the line. And what that's going to give me is that little tiny bit of give to get it onto the top of the box so that it's not exactly the same. Okay, score it on there. And I'm going to turn this one around and do that again. Again, just inside that line, turn and score. So under normal circumstances, just go whip across. But for the lids, I found that the best way to do it is to turn and score. Okay? Turn and score. And that will make 2-inch sides and 2 and a whisper for the middle. Okay? Now I can put my trimmer down somewhere. Okay, so now we've got to get creative with our snips. You can use your scissors, you can use your cutting blade on your on the trimmer if you want, but I found it easier to use the snips. So we want to actually cut this particular one off. What we'll do is we might actually burnish all of our score lines first, because I'm going to cut off the score lines. So I fold into, like, you've got your valley and you've got your mountain. It's up to you whether you fold in towards your valley or in towards your mountain, whichever one floats your boat. Okay, there is not a right way, there is not a wrong way. So I'm folding in towards my valley and I'm going to burnish it, run my bone folder over it, whatever you want to call it. Okay, and I'm going to score all of those lines. I'm going to burnish all of those lines that we've scored. Okay, including that little tiny one. I'm sorry, the Night of Navy is probably not the most ideal colour for you all to see. Okay. All right, there we go. Okay, so I've done all those ones, and now I'm going to do the same thing on here. I'm just going to fold them all in. I'll come back and I'll go along with the bone folder. Just fold them all in towards it. Okay. And just give them a bit of a burnish. And now we're going to trim them. Okay, so this is where the fun begins. We've got to cut off this piece here. So I'm trimming on the inside of that score line. And I'm just going to cut that piece off there like that. Okay, and then I'm going to just shave this piece off here like that. And the reason why I've done that is just so that when it folds in quite nicely and you don't see it sticking out the top. Now we have to cut off these. So I'm cutting down either side of that burnished score line, which is going to give me like this really thin, wispy little piece of cardstock, but it's going to make it so that the box folds in nicely on itself, and it won't have bits sticking out the side, for want of a better way of putting it. Like I said, if you wanted to use your trimmer and make sure these were straight, knock yourself out, but it's just as easy using a pair of scissors. Okay. This one on the end, I'm turning it over because it's easier for me to hold it. I am just going to take off a whisker of cardstock, like seriously a whisker. Okay. Come in and get all these guys out. All right. You can cut them off later, or you can cut them off now, whatever floats your boat. Okay, and we're going to do the same or something very similar with this piece. Okay, so we want to, again, we're going to cut to the inside of that line there, and then I'm going to cut out that groove. And I'm going to do the same on this side. Got to hold your tongue right. It's a bit like fussy cutting, but not really. Okay, and again on this side we'll do the same thing. So I'm just cutting that groove out because it makes the box fit better together, or the box top or base, either one end up fitting better together. Okay, So if you want to make a bigger box, you'll need a 12 by 12 piece. Okay. If you want to make a longer box, like if you want to make it fatter, you can. But if you want to make it fatter, you're going to lose height. So just be aware of that. So you could make it 3 inches and have 3 inches along the bottom, and you'll end up with more of a squat box. So it depends on what you're putting in it. Okay, so I've cut it like this. So it's going to fold in like so, and like so, and like so. Okay, you will find that some of the bits will stick out and they'll poke around and whatnot, but we're going to try and avoid that from happening. Okay, so these 2 pieces here, no, let me just make sure. Yes, those 2 pieces there are going to be the top of them. So I'm actually going to just trim this edge here off ever so slightly. Again, it's like another whisker. I'm going to do the same thing up here. I'm not as good in going in this direction as I am in the other direction. All right, and then do the same down this end, but I'm going to turn it over to make it easier for myself. So we've got all these little fine bits trimmed off. Now you can use your tear and tape for this, but I am a big fan of liquid glue, and I strongly encourage you to use liquid glue. Okay. I just said to Tony, we've got some bottles of grog that we're gifting, and I said, what size are they? And he goes, oh, I don't know. So I couldn't make a box to suit them. Okay, so now it's a matter of sticking it together. So we'll stick the base together first. I'm just going to fold that piece in there like so, fold that piece across there, and somewhere on my table is my glue. Okay, so I'm putting a little piece of glue, a thin thing of glue, because we don't want it to squeeze out too much along here. Okay, for now, that's first cab off the rank. Then I'm folding it in on itself like so, and I'm just going to fold that piece there, because you know what? If we've scored it correctly, that will work. Okay, and our box is starting to take shape. Okay, so just press that glue together. All right. Now, I like that piece there to now become my back. All right. And it's just something that you just have to remember where it is, essentially. Okay. Oh, I've already got sticky on my fingers. Okay, so because that's going to become my back here, that piece is going in first. All right. So it's just gone in there first. No biggie. It's just sitting in there, and I'm going to put some glue on it. All right. The trick to get it square when you're doing this is to hold on to it at the bottom and just slowly place that like so. We're going to put some glue. This time I'm going to put it on this piece here. Okay. And I'm just folding them in. Putting it on this piece here because I want it to go right to the edges. And then I'm going to turn it over, stick my bone folder in there and pushing it down. So if you're putting something in it like your bottle of wine, you could now stick it in there and it will hold it so that it's square. Okay, so it's just making it stay square for you. Okay, and then we're going to do our lid. All right, so that sat there for a few minutes, and now we're going to do our lid. Now, what I found the easiest way to do the lid is actually on our base. So I'm putting it on the base, I'm folding it around. This is where I need a camera that's looking at me. And I'm going to fold it up around there, and I'm just going to glue as I go and have those two flappy bits over the side so that we end up with a lid. See what I mean? Okay. So I'm going to put some glue on this piece here. Some glue on this piece here, because they're both going to come in here and they're going to join up to that, and that's going to join up to that. Now, because I didn't have my box on it, I will stick my box on it and force it into submission. All right, which then makes this side so much easier to do, because I'm going to put some glue on here, stick that one down. Okay, and then some glue on this guy, and stick that one down to cover it. Right, and now we've got a very snug little lid. Now, if you wanted to make, you can always, less than a millimetre like is what you need extra to make sure it fits. Okay, so I'm just going to leave that on there for now. Okay, so we've got a nice little box. Okay, and again, if you wanted to make it a bigger box, it will end up squatter, so it will end up shorter. So it just depends on what size box you need, depends on how you cut it. Okay, and the same with the designer series paper. Essentially, you're going to do what your square on the inside is plus your sides, and it's going to be that far along and that far down. Okay, is that clear as mud? Please say yes. Okay, so this base, to make this size box, we've essentially got an 8 1/4 by the height, which in our case was the whole piece of cardstock. 21 centimeters. Yeah, I don't know what it is in inches, can't remember. And the top is a 6 by 6 piece. If you're working in centimeters and you want to do the smaller box, there's the smaller box size. Okay, so that one goes with that one there. Well, it's not going to let you have a look at that. And this is the big base, the big box. Then it comes to decorating our box. So it's not very clear there because it wants to flop up. I'll just put the bone folder on it and it might hold it down for you. The sun is streaming in here. Okay, I'll put the measurements in the description below once I've finished. Okay, so I've brought over with me, this says 'Tis the Season. It's traditional labels. It's part of the Christmas offering. This is not Christmas paper, but there's just for yous in here and to and from. And it just makes a nice little, makes a nice tag. Okay, these are the tags that go with them. All right, so these I think are very, very usable. Now, depending on what size box you've got, depends on what size tag you want to make. So there's this is this one here in gold and this one here in basic white. Okay, we've got balmy blue and night of navy, so I'm actually going to do a balmy blue tag on this one. All right, I bought a massive piece of balmy blue over to cut one out, so I'm going to cut out, I think it needs the bigger one, and we could do a couple of different layers. What do you reckon? Bigger one? And then we could have the just for you in there. Yeah, that would work. No one said it has to be plain. It can be designer series paper as well, or we can, what else can we do? And just for you will also, doesn't fit in that one. That's fine. I was going to say, but yeah. So just depending on what you want to do, depends on what piece you use. I really like this one for the frames, to tell you the honest truth. That one suits me down to the ground. I might use that one. I know this one's just as nice, but it just depends on what you're doing. Okay. So I do have the cut and emboss machine here, and I have got a piece of balmy blue. So we need a piece of balmy blue. When I'm cutting up when I'm cutting up cardstock to make lots and lots of tags, I'll often go along and I'll just cut off what I need. I don't know what you guys do, but it just makes it so much easier. And then I can often give Tony a great big piece and say, get as many out of that as you possibly can. So it just depends on what you're doing. All right. So we need one of that. And we need a small one of this one here of the white. Oh, I might have to do them separately. Oh no, I can. And that's one of the things. Can I fit them both onto my cut and emboss machine? And you know what? Yeah, I can. How cool is that? And because I haven't stamped on either of them, it doesn't matter where I put my pieces. I'll just bring it back to me because it's easier. Take that away. All right. This tag here, I'll just give you the heads up. It's not the easiest to get out. All right. What we found, Tony and I, you really need something sharp and pointy. So you take your pick tool, which happens to be on the other table, and you need to get in because there's no dots around here. So just be aware of that because you don't want to tear these little pieces. So Tony cut out a whole heap of these for me. And let me tell you, by the time he cut out heaps of them, he was practically cursing me. But once you've got it started, you're fairly right. I'm thinking because they didn't think like about those bits when they did this, but I just love it. All right, you just have to be careful when you get it out. All right. And this beauty just pushes out. Okay. All right. Now, because these are photopolymer stamps, we can see through them. And did I bring a block? This one I prepared earlier. Just for you. And then we'll have to and from on the back of it. Okay. And I'm going to stamp this in Night of Navy. Okay. Small box. Big box. All right. And anything in between. Hold your tongue right. Line that guy up. Push it out there. Okay. This piece will sit very nicely with dimensionals, which are hiding over here. No, they're not. I've only got minis on the table. No, I've only got minis on the table, so minis are what we're using. I've got a production line happening over the back over there. Okay, so depending on what you're doing with your box, depends on how you then attach everything. So if you want, where's my back? There's my back. All right. Depending on what I'm putting in it will depend on how I'm going to close this box. Now, we've got lots of beautiful ribbons to choose from. It's going to give me some protest. It's going to protest at me. Lots of beautiful ribbons to pick from. There's quite a few different white ones. There's white and gold. There's lots of different colours. The one that I think will fit very nicely on here, I thought I brought over some plain white. I did. It's just a plain white ribbon. And one of the things that you can do with it is, because this is going to land on here, oopsie, it is going to hold down our ribbon to our box. Okay? You can put your ribbon around the top, you can put your ribbon around the bottom, but I'm going to use it to hold the box closed. Okay, so that whoever gets it will have to open the box by opening the ribbon. So I'm going to make a channel with my dimensionals, which means if you have the edges from the bigger dimensionals, you can put them down either side of your little taggy thing. Now I am going to have it sitting above here a bit, so I'm just going to put these guys down a little bit. And because they're only little, I'm just going to use those 3 down that side. I'll put 3 on a similar side down here. If you're wondering where my take your pick tool is because you've just come in, it's over on the other table. and I am slack and I haven't got it with me. That's all. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to place my ribbon like so. And before I do anything else, I'm going to stick this baby down. Now, this would look good if you embossed it. It would look good if you stamped on it. It would also look good cut out of designer series paper. So it just depends. Now, my dimensionals are under here. I want it to go just over that label. I don't want my dimensionals to be on, it's crooked. I don't want them to be on the top, on the lid. I just want them on the bottom bit. It's crooked. I've just got to wiggle it. But you have to put your ribbon on first because otherwise it's too hard to thread under there. And see how it moves? Okay. And then I just measure it that way. If you've been watching me for a while, you'll know that I don't cut anything until the last minute. So let me just tie my bow up here. All right. Oopsie. Try and make sure that your ribbon stays relatively flat on all your sides as you tie it, because that looks the best. And tie it. Now, I don't know if you noticed before, those bottles were a little bit bigger than the actual container. So in this case, if I was putting one of those bottles in here, I would have my bottle in here first, right, for example, because see how it's a little bit bigger? So that when I stuck everything on, I need to lay it down to get this bit on. Before I tied my ribbon so that I knew how tall I wanted my ribbon. But it also means that I could actually push this label a little bit higher, okay? So just be aware of that. So depending on if you're going to load it before you make sure you've got cut enough ribbon for how you want to load it. Okay, so I'm going to just make this a little bit bigger. Okay, so tying the bow. You don't want to tie a tight bow. You don't want to, because you don't want it to squish your box. But you want some room in case you decide, if you haven't already decided what you're putting in it, you want some room if there's a need to put something more in it. Okay, let me just do, the way that I flag them is I just cut it like that, fold it in half and cut it towards itself. Now, the beauty of this bow is I can move that to wherever I would like it to sit. See what I mean? Okay, so I'll just put that out of the way. This little guy is going to sit on there and look all beautiful. So you could knock out these pretty quickly if you have set up yourself up a bit of a production line. I'm in the process of making about 25 of them for my colleagues at work. And they're all at the load and tie status. So not bad considering I want to take them tomorrow. All right. Now, if you were wanting to make it so that that dangled, because you'll notice that the other ones dangle, my first one, oh, I've got dimensionals everywhere. All I did was use a hole punch, just a tiny little hole punch. All right. For this one here, I used a tiny little hole punch, made a hole, and then I've just used a piece of baker's twine to tie it onto my knot because this didn't need a bow. So depending on what you want to do, depends on how you want it to attach. If you wanted to, you could then write to and from on the back. All right. So with your stamping, so that you could then make that a hanging piece for you. So there is our box. I promised my ladies that I would share the box with them. I'm hoping that they're all, if they're not watching, I'll just tag them in it, as you do. send it to everybody. All right, and then this, in this particular case, this can just squeeze back onto here. All right, and then we've got our little gift box, and they're just quite nice, neat, tidy little packages, and the cardboard is quite sturdy, so you could get away with using designer series paper depending on what you wanted to put in the base. This would also look fabulous stamped, and again, depending on what you put it in, what you want to put in it. But that paper is just beautiful. Okay, and then you really don't need to make a card. If you wanted to add something to it, these are the in color flat pearls. Those Secret Sea ones would look just fabulous on there. Okay, actually, so would the cloud cover ones, because although it's Balmy Blue and Night of Navy, they would work. All right, well, without further ado, I'm going to head off, because that was what I wanted to show you today. It was a little bit something different, a little bit 3D-ish. This is the Christmas tree that we all made on the weekend, which was a bit of fun. And I hope that you all have a lovely Christmas. It is a week away. I am undecided as to whether I will be live next Thursday, which is Christmas Eve. I might not. So I'm not sure. We'll see how we go. It will be at 4 o'clock if I do come on live, and I look forward to seeing those people that join me then. If you're not following me on YouTube, I'm trying to push myself over the 500 subscriber limit. A subscriber, not limit, there's no limit. The sky's the limit. Over the 500 subscriber amount. So please get on there and like my channel. If you're not already hooked up to my newsletter, please do that. Otherwise, you're welcome to watch us on Facebook once a week on a Thursday afternoon. I like to say, oh, it's Christmas Day on Thursday. It is too. I'm not coming on Christmas Day, guys. Sorry. Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, I'm glad you like your tray, Cheryl. I thought you would. On Christmas, I won't be coming next Thursday. Next Thursday is Christmas Day. I will not be live. I might do something on another day for you, but yeah, just watch on my Facebook page. I will put up something if I'm going to do a live at any stage over that holiday period. But I want you all to have a very safe Merry Christmas and a very Happy New Year. I will be on New Year's Day. I know that that's also a public holiday in Australia, but well, actually everywhere. But yeah, I will do live that day. So if you're wanting some of these goodies, you probably left it a little bit too late to get your kit. These are kits. Kits will land in your the kits are available in the kits collection. I think you'd be pushing it to get them in time for Christmas now. But if it was something that if you were seeing someone later in that week, that grey week between Christmas and New Year, where nobody knows the date or the day, you probably would get it in time for that. But the cutoff for Christmas presents from Stampin' Up has been and gone for them to guarantee delivery. But they're still great ideas. The kits are great ideas for crafting with kids, especially over the school holidays, because you know how bored they get. And I don't know about you, but some of those days are too hot to go to the beach. Okay. And kids love to get ink and glue all over them, as do I. All right. Well, I will put those measurements for the box that I've done today and the little box into the blurb, where the little, the directions. So yeah, I look forward to it. If anyone else makes some boxes, I'd look forward to seeing them. Okay. Without further ado, I'm headed off and I will catch you all later. Toodaloo. Oh, don't know where my end button is. Merry Christmas, everyone. Bye.